Hello there. In this video, I want to talk about how to make it through a program. I went through Teen Challenge for 3 years and was an addict for a very long time. In another video, I'll be posting my testimony and what it's like after. But in this video, I'm going to talk about how to do it and why to do it and what it takes. And if I can sum it up in one word, it would be surrender. Um, I was an addict for like 20 years. It kept getting worse and worse. But I showed up at the doors of Teen Challenge um, with nothing. Um, Even if you do have something, they'll take your phone, your money, and they'll store it away. They'll go through your stuff. And I showed up there with nothing, and this was during COVID. So you go to a dorm that's where you're isolated for 2 days to make sure you're not sick. And I was dope sick anyway. I just come out of detox and was very sick. And I get in the room, and eventually somebody else comes in there. But when I show up in the room, I'm like, well, this ain't that bad. And then I round the corner, and there's 10 bunk beds in one dorm. There's many dorms, but I'm in there alone, and I just lay in bed, and eventually somebody comes in. I meet them, but as I'm laying there, it starts to feel like scales are being ripped off of me, if you could picture that. And it started almost feeling like demon possession, my withdrawal. It's like, I'm spinning in bed, I'm groaning. That's what I pictured. But the good news about all this, and it's tough, but it takes about 10 days for an addict like me, because I was heavily addicted to Suboxone and all kinds of other stuff, but at the time, and meth, and it takes about 10 days. So I leave the program and have this encounter with God, which I'll talk about in another video when I do my testimony. But I come back to Teen Challenge without withdrawals. It finally broke after that encounter and, the time. And the biggest thing after that is adapting, because you'll have to get up early. You'll have to work all day, but you do get 3 square meals, and the work's not that hard. It is while you're feeling rough, but eventually that'll pass. You'll have to go to church on Wednesday, on Sunday. There'll be class on Tuesday at night, and then there'll be class either on Monday and Wednesday for like a half a day, and then you get free time. And there's chapel on Friday night sometimes, and you get see your family once a month, and you'll get a phone call to your family once a week, and you'll get to see them once a month, but like no girlfriends or nothing like that. Like you got to talk to a wife or a family member. Um, you'll do this for about a year, day in and day out. I mean, as I was a student, like we did all kinds of work calls and stuff like that. Besides, physical labor, like you might wash dishes at a certain place or serve, and the good news in all that is like you'll get to work out and build your strength. You'll get a relationship with the Lord mainly. But like it's the camaraderie. That's the biggest thing I miss since I've been out for a couple years, is like the camaraderie of like hanging with your brothers. Because there's no females there. There's a campus down the road which you'll interact a little bit, but it's either all women or all men, and but it's the brothers, and like going through things and doing the devos and getting inside of people, and understand their heart and where they're from, and give each other crap, like in the military. If anybody else has been in the military, like it's the same way. And it's fun in a sense. They have basketball courts, pickleball at some of them, but it's the restoration, your relationship with the Lord, and the restoration of with your family. That's the biggest thing. And it's like, when I tell you I showed up with nothing, I had nothing. Even I didn't have the phone or an ID or anything. I had lost all my teeth. I had hepatitis C. I had no driver's license, and about 6 months in, my father got me teeth, and that was such a blessing. And then a little further in, they'll help you get your license and a GED if you had, I had my diploma, but and eventually I graduated, and I did an internship, and then I got the cure for hepatitis C, and that's amazing. And getting your driver's license back, like, it's all a miracle of God. Like, there's no way I'd ever thought of getting my, I drive for a living now. I've got a CDL, and it's like being cured of that. It's amazing, and I owe it all to the Lord, and the instruments of my family, my father, you know. But the biggest thing also is forgiveness, like forgiving yourself for the damage you've done to yourself, forgiving understanding why you was mad at certain people, and then some of them you're like, why was I even mad? And then others you're like, I've just got to let that go. And even if you can't forgive them, write it down on a piece of paper. You know what I mean? And even if you have to throw it away, you don't have to keep it. Just make it tangible, and just just keep it up. Keep it up, because it's worth it. You know what I mean? Because I like I said in another video, I didn't want to die alone, riddled with disease, and just, that's how people remember you. At least try. Say you tried. Um, but also, if you go to my shorts, like there's a black and white video, Meth to Life, like you'll see the transition. You'll actually get to see it in photos. And then there's another video I got called Meth, a demon from my past, where I share an encounter. It's pretty crazy. And then I have one vision of God in my shorts where you'll see a good encounter. But there's more to come. But I did a second year. And that's when I'll give away kind of where I'm at, but there was hurricanes. And I served with Convoy of Hope, cleaned up trees, didn't have a shower for like 10 days, and it was hot. It's where I'm at, it's hot. And got to do books, learn books, because I don't like to read, but you learn to love certain things in there, and like you have to complete books as an intern. There's way more. I just can't think of it right now, but I mean, like, you'll be overseeing the students that's, a lot of them that you went through the program with. You're just a little bit ahead, and then some are brand new, and guiding them, and getting them in and mentoring to them, because it's come so easy after being a year clean, like to transition that. But one thing I regret that I didn't do as an intern was work more on myself, because the Lord on my heart today, like the churches today, like, I'm not saying don't ever not help people. So don't, like, what I'm saying is like, if I'm focused on helping everybody else constantly, I'm never going to get to the root of why I am the way I am. And now I'm having to do it, like, now, and it's like it's so exhausting and tiring. Do it while you have that energy and you're fresh and you're freshly clean off hard drugs, because it's a lot easier transition. Well, after that year, that my second year, I did reentry, which is a 9-month thing where you'll work at the store if they let you. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a lot of, sometimes people move on after the first year, but like I said, I didn't have anything. So I did the 9 months. I met my wife, and we did it the right way. We didn't have any relations till marriage, and I'm proud of that, because that's hard to do. That's hard. You need accountability, and they had it. Like, I had to go out on dates with like 2 people at first, and then 1, because you will get urges. It's just being real. But I continued after getting married. I left the program at my, basically my 3rd year, and
moved in with my wife and our kids, and worked for the store for about another year, and then I got a better job. And my boss is a godly man, and like he offered me a better position of what I was already doing there in in 6 months. And it's such a great, like, God is good, because like I never had a desire to do all this, because I think it's mental health, like addiction and all that. Like you're blocking something and just ain't getting it. Like it's a mental health issue, or at least mine was. And it all stems, I get it now, from where I latched on to people. Like I thought about it this morning, like in 8th grade when we moved. Like I latched on to the first person. My brain is like, that's where you want to be. And that relationship with that friend was very good for a long time. But outside influences, it's you losing that youth, and then the outside influences start, and it snowballed, and then it's turned into years. But don't latch on to when you get sober. Don't latch on to the first person that your brain says they're good for you, because maybe they are, or maybe they aren't. But you're not ready. You're not ready to take on the pressures of life, because I struggle with that. Like I can do it. I do it. I work day in and day out, but I'm just saying, like, it's unnecessary pressures of outside influences and just family things that can really test you. And because I'm willing to step up, but sometimes you just don't know how, and you got to learn in the moment, and that's what I'm doing. But take that time as a student in reentry or an internship to work on that stuff, because they'll teach you certain things, but they're not going to teach you finances. They're not going to teach you family issues, and even the Bible will tell you, but you have to figure it out, what it meaning in the context, and like what's the point of all of it. And it's like, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it to get sober. But I'm facing another challenge now of like my health, and I feel it. I've got type 2 diabetes. I'm gonna do a video on that, and it's like, my hat's off to people that's got type 1, because I can't fathom. I mean, my mother had it and I took care of her. My wife's got type 2, but it's like I can see a precursor. And there's other issues that I'm not going to disclose, of complications of drug use, and it's like, I didn't foresee it being like this, but I don't regret it. Like I said, you want to be remembered for somebody who tried and turned their life around no matter what. And it's standing in the face of the enemy, of disease, of the hate inside you, and facing it and doing what you got to do every day to support your family. Because I don't have all the answers. My wife's a very smart person, but sometimes I've got to block up. Don't be that person where you've got to block up on, like, people. Even the bad advice, take it in and weigh and turn it to good. Because I'm a firm believer all things work together for good. But listen, I love you guys. Take care. Be blessed. And don't let the world get you down. And get out of that addiction as soon as possible. It's totally worth it. I promise. Take care, guys. Bye.